My name is Annet De Zwart from the Netherlands, and here with Alane Freund. Welcome. Yay.
Thank you. I'm out here in California in the US, and Annette and I have taken to the airwaves to have meetings regularly just to check in on each other's lives and also to talk about our work as international consultants on high sensitivity. And last month, we spontaneously jumped on a Facebook Live because we were talking about something. And I thought, hey, this would be so great for people to be witnesses and party to this conversation. But this morning, we had another idea, which I think is really cool, which is that next time we would like to announce it ahead of time so you could also jump on Zoom and join us in a conversation. So keep your eyes out for that. We'll make an event and announce it. But today we're here to talk about a topic that's dear to our hearts, which is highly sensitive people and wisdom.
HSPs and wisdom. I mean, my gosh, that's so much, right? There's so much to that topic. I think to start with, we all HSPs have a lot of wisdom, I think, in your intuition and your knowing what is good for a situation. So I think we all have a lot of wisdom to share with others, but we're kind of a little bit scared of, because we feel like, oh, this is different than what other people think. So it's not always that you feel that you can share it with other people, right?
I think that's so true. We can be really reserved about sharing it. I think it's hard sometimes to feel like you're thinking things that no one else is thinking and to just be so different. And at the same time, I have this little video I made with Elaine, and we were just hanging out with the horses and we were talking about COVID. It was early in the days of COVID. And I said, we notice so much, we think so much. Maybe it's time that we shared some of what that is.
Yes.
And I'm in danger of being an oversharer, like just rambling on and on and on. But at the same time, I think so many HSPs hold back what their inner wisdom is, and in a way, we shortchange the world by not sharing those bits of wisdom that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially at the moment when there's so much going on and so much misery and depression and anxiety in the world going on, I think somehow we are the missing link. We are the missing information that is needed in the world today, which will make it whole again somehow, because there's so much like how people deal with each other, like with how you that in my opinion, there's not enough respect or compassion and things like that in the world. And I think HSPs, they have, in general, they have that a lot for other people. And I think it's also, if we pointed that out to others more and be the example, I think that would be a really great start for everything in the world and for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a reason that 20%, at least 20% now, if we're following Michael Pluis's new research, maybe a little bit more, but at least 20% of most species, certainly humans, but in over 100 species, maybe all of them, we have this 1/5 of the population born with a more reactive brain. Like, there is a reason, and it has to do with evolution and survival, in my opinion. And, we talk about the sensitive deer are the ones who remember where the best grazing is during a drought. And, the sensitive, in general, the sensitive prey animals are the ones who sense the danger coming. And many points in evolution, certainly humans have also been prey, even though technically we're predators. But we need that 1/5 of the population to be noticing. But, Elaine has moved away. Elaine Aron, our founder, has moved away from the term priestly advisor. But originally she was talking a little bit about the highly sensitive people were the priestly advisors, and the folks who were advising those who were in leadership positions, if they weren't themselves in leadership positions, to exercise caution and compassion and awareness and empathy. And so I agree with you. There's certainly a reason that we're here and that we are the way that we are.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about how our brains work that make us, I mean, are we, just automatically, are we more intelligent? Are we more wise? Are we more gifted than the other 80%? I don't think that's the case.
No.
I think it's that our brain works in a unique way that allows us to access and see wise action and wise thinking more easily almost.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? That thing in there that sometimes I curse and sometimes I embrace?
Yeah. Well, that is a very complicated expression, I think, and it's also where to go with it. But I think you're absolutely right. I don't think we're more intelligent or that we are more better than other persons. Definitely not. I think it's just that as I remember Barbara Allen, who's also a lot on this Facebook group, I mean, she also says always that we have this bigger picture. We see more things, and the more we are more able to, if we're in the surroundings, we see the details more, and we are better able to put all the pieces together and see that bigger picture that maybe other people won't so easily see as we do. And so in that way, we do notice more, we feel more. And if we put that together and we trust on that information to be accurate and then we have, I think, absolutely something to offer, to share with other people, and if it's just difficult to have the faith in that and to do something with it and to speak up if necessary, because that's the hardest part, right?
That is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And I think, in terms of our brains being more reactive and more effective at scanning the environment, noticing and paying more attention, it makes us potentially see more and have more wisdom. But in order to access it and live into it and feel good about it, I do think we have to be more at an optimal level of arousal, as we're always talking about, especially in this group, but in the International Consultants for High Sensitivity. Like, we think and talk a lot about being thriving, about being our strongest, best selves. And what I notice is when I'm taking really good care of myself and I'm getting enough rest and I'm having, enough mental stimulation, like talking to you each month, Annette, then I do really live into the wisdom. But when I go out and I just kind of overdo, get overstimulated all the time, then I'm like, am I crazy to use a highly technical term? But I don't feel or seem very wise in those moments when I'm so overstimulated or I'm not getting enough rest. And I think I feel more confident in my internal process and my own wisdom when I am in a better, more even place. Yes. And I think that's a really tricky part of it that's how the brain is a gift instead of a curse.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also very logical. I mean, if you're overwhelmed, if you're overstimulated, then you're not so wise anymore. And then it's hard to see that bigger picture around you and to focus on things. So indeed, to have that overview, sort of helicopter view, which is also called sometimes, I think to have that, you do need to be in a very calm and rested place. Otherwise, it will just get mixed up with personal feelings, with personal upsets, maybe even, or other things that influence it a lot. Yeah.
Well, there's this beautiful guided meditation by Jack Kornfield, and he says, imagine that you're in a disagreement with someone, your partner or your older child or someone at work, someone who matters to you, and you feel really stuck. And you walk out of the door and you find someone and someone comes back in with you, go out and you meet someone out there, and they are the most wise person you can imagine. So right now we could think of who that, if you have a religion It might be the emblematic person, and Jesus or Mother Mary or the Buddha or Gandhi or some wise person in your life that you admire and respect. It might even be my grandfather, right? And you bring them back in, and they tell you, they participate in the discussion. They say, I'm going to take your role right now. You just step back and relax and watch. And I'm going to be in this conversation and say what should be said and what needs to be said. And then you watch them have that interaction. This is all in your mind, right? And then they come back out and they talk to you, and you get to experience that calming that comes from that wisdom. And then Jack says at the end of the meditation, where did the words of that person, your angel who came in and did that for you, where did their kindness and compassion and the things they said, where did that come from? Of course, it only came from inside of you.
Yeah.
From your own wisdom. And I love that story and that meditation. Sometimes I lead it myself in my workshops.
Yeah, it's lovely. Absolutely.
So when you're just really quieting down and being open, you literally open the door to your wisdom.
Yeah.
And your heart can be full and soft and open to sharing it, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Annette, I don't see us on Facebook. Is anybody popping in there with any questions?
I don't see any, but it is, it does say we're live now. So if anyone is seeing it, they might, if they could give us a like or a comment, that would be nice.
Well, plus, what we'll do is we'll put this video will be on Facebook, and let's watch it. I know I'm the admin this week. So.
There's a comment from someone. I see and hear your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you,
Julie.
So people are welcome to keep putting questions and comments over the next week or two, and we'll respond and keep an eye on them as well. We hope this will stimulate a nice conversation. And I wanted to tell you, I went to the beach on Friday. It was a day off for me. And with my dog, I don't know if you can hear him barking out in the yard. I apologize if you can. He always likes to participate in some way. So we were out at the beach, and I was making a little video to promote my Wise Women in Wonder group, which is the first Sunday of every month. Love to see any women, highly sensitive women over 50 there. You only have to do 1 month at a time. Usually people keep coming back because it's so, I always say the wise women take me to church. It's a really beautiful time to just share on whatever topics we want. Anyway, I was making this video. I was sitting on the beach and I was filming the waves coming in and going out, because that really helps soothe me and make me feel calm and in my wisdom. And in the back of my mind, while I was making this little video, which I haven't put, I'll put it on Instagram today and then on YouTube later. But as the waves are coming in, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, they're getting closer. The tide's coming in. And I'm talking on the video, and sure enough, a huge wave comes in. It comes all the way up to where I'm sitting, which I thought it was pretty far away. And I scrambled. I didn't even get wet. I scrambled. I dropped the phone, but it kept recording. I said, I'm going to keep this in my video, because it just goes to show that even with all the wisdom, when you're trying to do too much at once, it all goes out the window.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it's the same with what they say about HSPs also being very gentle. I mean, if we're overstimulated, then we're not so gentle anymore, and we can get really like, but you're not so nice anymore. So I think that's the same indeed with wisdom.
Yeah. And I mean, I think 0 to 100 really fast can happen when you're overstimulated. And
that's another comment. Enjoying the reminder to manage overstimulation. Thank you. It's like, it's I think it's almost key to know your own overstimulation, because that is exactly the thing that will keep you balanced. If you're knowing about your overstimulation, your overwhelm, knowing how you feel. I think one of the things that I almost teach with every client and every course is like the one thing, if you only do one thing, it should be check in with yourself like a couple of times daily. How am I feeling? Because the moment you're overstimulated, you have only you will only notice it afterwards, like, oh my gosh, that went so horrible because I was so overstimulated and I couldn't say what I wanted to, and things happened in a way I didn't want them to. So you get totally like, oh, overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
to make a habit of just knowing how you feel, and that is like, ask yourself like 10 times a day, how am I feeling in this moment? How is my overwhelm level? Is it like a 1 or is it like a 5? And then like if you're going into another situation, like, okay, I'm a little overstimulated already, so maybe I should be aware of that. Am I tired? Do I need something? Just being aware of how you are feeling, that is key to everything, I think.
I totally agree. If you're not aware, you can't do anything about it, you know.
Exactly. Then it just happens.
Yeah, I get into that fog. Trust me. We're not preaching from the pulpit. We're right in the pews with you, right? We know what it's like. And Annette, I think you're better at this than I am. But I'll tell you one of my little tools. I love that, checking in with yourself. And I think it's important to create a habit around it.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, there's so many different ways you can create a habit. I have a thing where I like to, every time I pick up my teacup or my glass of water, my water bottle, to think right before I take a drink that I'm actually taking a drink.
Yeah. Just being mindful in the moment. Exactly.
Right. And then another one that I don't remember where I learned this. I can't credit the teacher because I've been, studying life now for half a century. And, that's how we are, right? HSPs, we're perpetual students. All that noticing means that you're always learning. And I'm so grateful for all the teachers that have taught me, but I'm looking at a doorway because the threshold tool is such a great tool for creating a habit for checking in. So if you want to take Annette's advice and check in with yourself several times a day, you could just say, every time I walk through a doorway, I'm going to pause and touch the frame of the door. This is a window, but I'm going to just pause and put my hand on the frame of the door and see what it feels like and see where I am in my body.
Yeah.
So whether it's taking a drink or something that you do regularly. Now, yesterday I was hanging out with a friend who's also a colleague and a therapist. And she was saying that she has this thing that she does whenever she brushes her teeth. She thinks about someone in particular, and she's her friend in Wisconsin. And she has associated thinking about her friend in Wisconsin with doing something kind to herself. And she says it's such a habit now that whenever she brushes her teeth, she thinks of them. So it takes time to create a habit, but if you really consciously go into it, then like Annette says, this is the first step to preventing over arousal, to stopping it when you're on the escalation.
Yeah. I think that's indeed very true. And once the thing is that normally you're focused on everything around you and not on yourself. And so it's a habit of being focused on your surroundings and like, what do they want? What do they need? What do other people want to, what could I do for them to make it better? And so we're always focused on the other person, and just especially in the good moments that you're quiet and you're calm in the morning, to learn and teach yourself, how do I feel? And to make that a habit, it also becomes easier to do that when you're overstimulated. And that's exactly, I think, where the magic comes in, that once you're in the moment that you are getting overstimulated, that you can think, like, even in the overwhelm, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting overwhelmed and now I don't know what to do anymore. And then you can take a breath, and then it's like, okay, what should I do? And then it's little steps towards, what do I need to.
And I call that the power of pause.
Yes, exactly.
Right? All we have to do is take a pause, and that takes you, it's like a wisdom pill. It takes you right back to your wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, what makes it hard? If anybody who's watching us live would like to say, what makes it hard for you to be in your wisdom or to remain an optimal level of arousal? While we're thinking about that, I just want to say it, make a note out there to parents, since I work so much with parents. You can't parent when you're over aroused, and your kids can't hear when they're over aroused. And sometimes it's like a moving target trying to get you both into optimal level of arousal. But you know how it is, these sensitive kids, they are so incredibly wise when they're in their best selves, in their best space, and they are often not there. And so, I think just to remember that the wisdom is present regardless of the age of the sensitive person. It comes along with being in your best self, your best body, your best mind, and your best heart. So I just want to say, I know it's hard, and all parents lose it regularly, and that's normal. And raising sensitive kids is really hard. It's such a gift, and it's such a big job that the universe has given you. But the more you can really find those times, do these pauses and find those times when you are in your wisdom, and then take those moments into your parenting, the easier it will be.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I was just thinking when you were saying that, I think it's totally okay to lose it as a parent from time to time. I mean, it teaches your kids that it's okay to lose it from time to time, and that it happens to everyone. I mean, how could we be perfect, right? No one's perfect.
Right. And then, I think it's just so important to talk about it.
Absolutely.
To acknowledge. I mean, not just with your kids, but with your partner too. Gosh, it's so critical to remember that we can't really be good partners, good parents, good employees, good bosses, anything when we're over aroused. And yet when we're not, we're so good at it. So, it comes with challenges. And what makes us better? More time alone, more exercise, more prayer and meditation, or whatever you do for your spiritual life. I think it's a really important piece of it. And here we are moving into the winter season today. Well, last night was the first night of Hanukkah, and my family celebrates all holidays and none in some certain ways, not religious, but we celebrate lots of holidays. And, just the beauty of celebrating light. And we're in this dark time, and moving into the light is just such a beautiful spiritual moment if we embrace it. And that can help us access our wisdom too.
Totally. Yeah. Lorna, hi Lorna. She said that the idea of missing out and giving stuff up so I can live better, less is more. Yeah, that's also
it's not an accident that FOMO became the biggest new acronym in the last couple of years, right? It's so, our world is so overstimulating. And I think, I appreciate you bringing that up, Lorna, because we do have to let go of stuff. Oh, it's so hard for me. Darn it. I just want to do everything. And, a whole adult lifetime, I would say, 30 years of being a therapist and being in therapy and being in 12-step in Al-Anon 12-step program. And I'm still fighting with it. It's still hard. You see so much that could be different, or that you could do, and it is important to let go of it. And rest. Absolutely. See, this is why I love gathering with HSPs.
Yeah, it's great. It is.
I'm going to self-promote for a second if I can, and because I have the Are You Highly Sensitive membership community, which you led in September, and at the end of the year for the holidays, I always give new members who join, they can request a recording of a past workshop, and they could request the ones that you led as well. And but it's just so fun because we bring together a group of highly sensitive people. At the end of each one, we chat a little bit on screen, if anybody who wants to. And then I'll just say again, Wise Women in Wonder, it's this weekend, and it's been off all fall. And it just feels so good, just like this does. So sensitive women over 50, come join us on Sunday morning. I'll put the Eventbrite link here under the
you should. Great. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. As I'm sure it will be.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm sure it will be great. Because like what you said, any group of HSPs who gather and join and just share, it's just like, that's what we need to thrive also.
Yeah. And I think it's good when someone facilitates and someone is a leader, it's just like this Facebook group, and no shade on any other Facebook groups for sensitive people. There's a lot of good work going on out there. And I noticed that I feel safest in the ones that are well administered. Even though there might be rules that I don't love or whatever, like maybe I want to promote my events and somebody says I can't. But when they're well administered and things don't get too wild and crazy, because we can also be so critical sometimes and or so challenged. And a lot of times the people who share might be people who are facing really big challenges that they truly do need support. And it's outside the scope of what a Facebook group can offer. So I just want to appreciate Elaine Aaron and High Sensitivity and the people who started it many years ago, and the people who are helping lead it and administer it now, because I think it's really important to have good facilitation and limit setting. So thank you all for putting up with us. Trying to administer.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes it's challenging, like what to approve, what to not, and what one person finds offensive, the other one thinks it's perfectly fine. So it's really sometimes difficult to manage and to find the middle.
It really is. We're doing our best. So thank you all for putting up with us, and thank you for being here. I love the way this group is growing. Can you see the number of members?
I'm not sure at the moment. I can't see it because I only have for the live at the moment, but I think it's all above 6,500. I think so. It
is. Well, it says 6.7 thousand. So we're pushing up against 7,000, and so the bigger our group, the better, in my opinion, because there's so much experience, strength, and hope, and wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't we sign off?
Lorna just said, love you both. Love you too, Lorna.
We love you too. Let's sign off, and just with the reminder that we'll be announcing that we'll make the Zoom link public for next time, and invite anybody who's willing to be on the Facebook Live discussion to jump into the live and be here for the conversation. And Annette and I will facilitate it.
Yeah, we will.
And we'll let you know the topic.
Looking forward to it, indeed. And was nice talking to you. And so we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Take care, my friend. Thank you.
Take care, you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.